Republicans are going to come back hard after the courts. They want to be in control again. And you see in Washington what they're doing when they get control. So we sure need to stop that in Pennsylvania. And one of the first places where your rights are being challenged in this state is the Commonwealth Court.
They have an automatic right to appeal that decision, and those decisions go to the Superior Court, which is sort of the sister court to the Commonwealth Court. I have practiced in all of those areas. I've practiced in the Superior Court itself, filing, defending, and orally arguing appeals in that court and in
Yeah, did all what she said. But my name is Tamika Lane. I'm a judge in Philadelphia, and I'm so glad to see you all here because you guys already did it. You know that courts matter. You know that judges matter. It is so important who we put in these seats.
With the Republicans for these last two, but we have the Supreme Court. We just swore in Madam Justice Deborah Todd, who you all know is the first woman ever to be. But these Republicans want it back. So it's very important that we get this seat now, which was a Democratic seat, and we want to hold it. You have two candidates to pick from. First we'll start with Dan McCaffrey.
Not recommended, highly recommended by the Pennsylvania Bar Association in 2019 when I ran for Superior Court. Debbie was highly recommended in 2017 when she ran for Superior Court. We're both highly recommended again this year. And it's an absolute phenomenal choice for you.
Hi everybody, I'm Judge Debbie Kunselman, and I'm very proud to stand here as one of your candidates for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I'm also running because we saw what happened last year with the Dobbs decision and the overturning of Roe versus Wade. We need to have strong judges deciding these constitutional issues. We know they're all going to be falling back to the state, and the state Supreme Court is going to be the one deciding the most significant and important decisions in our Commonwealth. And the people to do that should be the people who have the most judicial experience. The people who've been sitting as a judge for a very long time, who've been able to see all kinds of cases work their way through the system. And I'm the candidate with the most judicial experience and the most diverse experience. I was elected first as a judge in 2005. I'm the first woman elected to my bench in Beaver County. I was the only woman to serve in Beaver County for 12 years. I'm proud to say that there are now 2 more women serving in that capacity. But because I come from a smaller county, we have 7 judges in Beaver County. And so we don't have 100 to pick from. We have to do a little bit of everything. And so I have very broad background in family law, juvenile law, criminal law, and family, juvenile, criminal, civil. So civil would be property cases, personal injury cases, contract cases. And with your help in 2017 then, I was elected to the Superior Court, where I've been serving for the last more than 5 years now. And as Jill said, it is the busiest court in the country, appellate court, hearing over 5,000 cases a year. Each judge decides between 200 and 250 cases themselves with their clerks that they write, and another 500 that they vote on. So in my 5 years on that court, I've decided over 3,000 cases. And Democrat, Republican, I have the most judicial experience. As Dan said, it is an embarrassment of riches. We are both highly qualified. But we also have to win this seat. And in the last 3 election cycles, we elected 13 appellate judges, 11 were women. When faced with a choice between a Democrat man, and Dan is a great candidate, or a Republican woman, 3 out of 4 times the voters went with the Republican woman. There's 2 women that are vying for that seat. And I have more experience than both of them. When I was on the trial court in Beaver County, just want to share one little personal story with you. I was in charge of the juvenile cases, and that was during the time of the Cash for Kids scandal that you may have heard about in Luzerne County. And I said, you know what, that's not going to happen under my watch. And I went out and visited all of the juvenile centers that we send our kids to. We have a juvenile crisis in Pennsylvania right now. A lot of the counties are closing their juvenile detention centers because they can't afford the funding to keep them open 24 hours a day, boys and girls. They have to have staffing. And so a lot of these kids are being sent home now with ankle monitors. For some people, that's fine. In fact, that's the best way for them to be treated. Because the last thing we want to do is take a kid at a low-level crime and put them in a juvenile facility with kids that are violent criminals. But we still need a place to put those kids that are violent. I went to all of the facilities where we send kids. Beaver County sends kids to about 6 or 7 different facilities. And I went to see them all. And at one of them, I noticed that they had a book cart, not very many books on there. And I said, what's up with that? And I went back to Beaver County and had our young lawyers run a book drive where we took 300 books to those kids so they would have more reading materials. So it's just as an example of one of the things I do. I look for ways to make improvements to the system. I look for ways that we can be more efficient and how we can help. And when I was elected to the trial court, they said to me, Judge, what do you hope they say about you when you're done being a judge, when you hang up your robe? And I thought, well, that's a strange question. I haven't put on the robe yet. Right? But I said, you know what? I hope they say that I knew the law, that I was fair to both sides, and that I had a good heart. That I really cared about the people who came before me and about the work that I was doing. Because I know it makes a difference. And so, with your help, I want to try to do that now at the highest level of our justice system. And the Pennsylvania Bar Association, again, has rated me as highly recommended for this office. And I'd really appreciate your vote. So when you're nominating your next Supreme Court Justice, remember this, Judge Debbie, she's ready.
Counties, and one basic fact remains very true. No matter how great a job we do in the cities, if we don't hold Republicans below 60% in the team, then no Democrat can win. So in times when you say I can't win the whole county, statewide, your vote really matters. And it takes all of us pulling together, and we're pretty good at this now. So the goal that we have is to ask all our red counties, can you get 5% more vote than you got 4 years ago? Not can you win the whole thing, but 5% is a reasonable goal of an increase. You can figure that out. You can get, and over time it gets better. And you see over time you've gotten better because now you're getting these candidates coming to you reliably because you're holding up your end. So I'm here to help you figure out what you need to do to get that 5%. And if you need some speakers, we can talk about that. We're going to try to put together some other resources for you. Give us a little time. But we want to start the conversation now. So think about that and we'll be back in touch. For today, this is so great, an event. Shannon, your home's beautiful. I'm jealous. The food's fabulous. Visit with the judges now for a few more minutes, and I gotta haul them out of here to Center County because we're working them hard.